All right, we are live, OTNG Season 2, Episode 17. Tonight we have Peter, Nils, and Ethan. Ethan is working in the lab tonight, so he's going to be playing via chat until things quiet down at his university, and he can join us real time. So
He's bringing his new character, a 6th-level mime.
A 6th-level mime, yes. Enjoy it all on the video feed.
Right.
When we last left our heroes, there was an excursion into the depths of the mines to recover the lost iron ore.
High quality iron ore.
There's a threat of some undead, which we have not yet fully addressed, though Yakufa has decided that he will descend into the black, leaving his companions behind to treat with these beings and determine their true nature. Ethan, I know that we had talked about running that like play by email, but I haven't done, well, clearly I haven't done that. So apologies for that. I would like to visit that or see if we can't do it. I've just been, even though I'm not working, I'm busy for some reason.
You tend to be more busy when you're not working.
Yeah, in part because I'm trying to do one job thing a day.
Yeah.
And then I got to take Lucas to school and pick him up from school, and that really cuts into my me time. So in any case, we will try. I will try to get to that. You can always ping me too, even if it's just to say, "Hey, let's start."
Did he
stop hacking?
Or go on mute?
I thought I was on mute. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Nils is packing all his ill-gotten gains for eBay profiteering. eBay profiteering. Yes, that would be correct.
Did Ethan talk to you about some of his ideas about Yakufa and what he wanted to go?
A little bit. A little
cool.
bit.
I thought it was a cool idea.
Had he shared them with you as well, or?
Yeah. Well, he and I had a couple email conversations.
Oh, good.
Sort of an Ichabod Yakufa sort of discussion about, how they see the world and how they see what these undead are, because they certainly weren't our foes. And we didn't want to fight them. And, whereas I just wanted to avoid fighting them, he saw further, and that they saw that they were souls that either need to be protected or released. And if they need to be protected, he wanted to help go seal that so that no one would bother them again, and they wouldn't be interfered with by the miners either, because out of respect for them, it's a matter of in his worship of that face of God, as Ichabod sees it, is that's the right thing to do, and that's putting things back in order, and that's really important to Opie more than Ichabod. But Ichabod sees we got to get everything cleaned up, ready to go, because the change is coming.
Okay, well that's interesting, and I think we could certainly explore that. And guys, when you do have those little sidebars or whatnot, if you want to share them with the rest of the group, the mailing lists, please feel free to do that. Though if you want to keep it 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 or whatever it is, that's fine too. I'm just encouraging you to share, because there is a lot of creative writing that goes on.
And I didn't want to step on Ethan's toes here, but he's mute at the moment, and I just thought it was such a great idea.
Right.
It fit the new character so well that I just wanted to share it with you.
Right. Well, that's excellent.
And also why he would go alone. He's not suicidal, but this is his mission with his God, not ours.
Yeah, definitely.
And, that's actually a very good point. We can go ahead and say anything we want about Ethan right now, and he can't say anything back.
Well,
he's a young man of the good
snap. I mean, he is the proctor in the lab. he probably doesn't care. He can do whatever the heck he wants. He's just being courteous to his fellow students, I think.
He can just wave his hair around a lot.
I roll a d20. I guess, yeah, maybe he doesn't want to call out his D&D-ness, his nerdness quite so hard. But, I mean, I think that's not a thing anymore. So
no, it's actually a really cool thing, and we really
did you
have missed it.
Jenna, those zines I sent you the other day? Jenna, right?
Did you send me zines?
I sent you, remember that link to the zines I sent you via text a few days ago, and I said Heather's daughter would probably would be her jam. I didn't know if you had shared them with her or not.
I have not yet. Yes, and I do remember that now. No, I've not shared them with her yet.
Okay. Well, there.
But I'm hoping to see her this weekend.
It is something you can keep in your back pocket then.
Woohoo!
I will ask you periodically though, because it does look like it's. I mean, yeah,
Does seem like it would be her kind of thing.
I think so. I mean, especially since the. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'll stay out of that.
That's it. I just stay neutral in the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's safer.
Nils, I'm going to mute you if you don't mute yourself.
I'm sorry. I guess I keep hitting the.
There we go.
So,
it sounds like he's eating cereal.
with rocks.
Okay, no, well, sorry. I actually am packing plates right now. So
I know you are. I guess the most important question I have for you tonight, we are starting a new adventure, so which heroes will you bring with you this evening? Peter, since you're the most mic'd up amongst us, besides your GM.
I am mostly bringing Opie.
Opie tonight. Okay.
If I can bring a second, I'll bring Ichabod, sure. But we know Ukufa can't be here, so it's going to be Morgan, and Opie feels especially protective of Morgan, so...
Okay, Opie and Morgan. Nils, who are you going to bring tonight?
Barring any more further information about the specific adventure, I'll be bringing Gideon since he hasn't been out of the stable.
Okay, great. So tonight we have Gideon, Opie, and Morgan, the three heroes that will undertake the next quest. Your companions have gathered up the ore, loaded the wagons, and sent them on their way, returning them to the crossings. But something is pulling you, something is drawing you away from the crossings, out into the hinterlands, to a new town you're unfamiliar with, a town on the verge, a town called Verge.
Where we can converge?
Morgan, what's drawing you to the Verge? He's chatting with a student. I'll chat at him just to involve him.
That's what you should do.
Oh, he is typing.
I guess his computer's to the left. I was going to say you should always try to ask him questions when he's obviously talking with someone.
Yeah.
We save him just for those moments. He's looking away. Give us something to decide.
No,
Quick!
I think he's looking at the keyboard. Right, he's using his phone for the hangout.
Ah. Clever lad. Well, I'm not going to ask Nils what he's painting because he's not. And speaking of painting, Aaron, props for getting your table back.
Yeah, that's great. That I've got those Greeks all rebased onto 3/16 balsa. And
what game are they based for?
I don't know. I just decided to base them on something that looked good.
That's
good. Some of the cavalry was based on these big, heavy, chunky, thick wooden bases, and I was like, oh, that I like the look of that. So I just sort of followed suit.
Just matched it.
Yeah, I decided that any war game that has specific basing requirements, I'll just
cut a unit base,
or cut a unit base, or fudge it, or whatever. Right? I mean, make a movement tray that's that size, or I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Or do some math to make a conversion, or I mean, I'm only going to be playing with my stuff, so it's all commonly based, so that's fine too. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, depending on what you use, how much you have, and what you're fighting against, you can always do 2 the strongest.
I could easily do 2 the strongest. What I really want is some Persians of the equivalent era of lead.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what castings those are, but I know some of them are garrison, and I don't even know garrison.
Sullens might. He's always got that.
I mean, it's like super
weird bit of knowledge.
Super 70s, right?
Yeah.
All right, good stuff, Morgan. I really like this idea about you sensing a disturbance in the magical area and and magical energy in the areas around Verge, not being sure if it's a disturbance of nature, natural magic, arcane magic, divine, or any other distinction, just a disturbance.
That's
And
no
this
small
disturbance has drawn you and your companions out to this little, this community, this 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 shelter in the wilderness of men. I have a new map for you. If you're not looking at it now, let's see.
No,
you are not.
we see the mines. That's
I
no
sense a
small
disturbance
moon.
in the force.
And I said
Great
that's no small
disturbance.
moon.
That's no moon. Damn it! What do I do here?
Oh, we're obnoxious.
And I still love you. Oh, here we go.
And oddly enough, Opie's pretty sure we're following a ley line.
All right, here is your new map.
Does this make it a hex crawl?
No, not exactly. Though Glenn's talking about running one.
Oh, cool. I bet he'd be a fun GM.
Yeah, I have not. I've been asking him to run something for us on the Monday nights when Dave Sokolowski can't run. So this red X on the southeastern portion of the map shows your entry into the area, into the region of the Verge. You can see a great urban sprawl. God damn it! I'm clicking on Peter's screen share, not on mine. Real map.
I'm distracted.
You can see a great urban sprawl here to the northeast, and then, but directly as you kind of come out over a rise and down a low hill, you can see a circle of standing stones. And Morgan senses, well, all of you. I mean, Opie can feel a convergence of the ley lines crisscrossing through these standing stones, and Morgan can clearly identify that as being the source of an arcane disturbance, the arcane forces, the power, the strength of something magical here within the vicinity of Verge. This urban area is all, there's no noise, there's no movement, there's not even any smoke.
I was just going to ask, is there smoke from chimneys?
And the distance from here to the outskirts, from your current position to the outskirts of this built-up area is about a mile. So you could see down there towards the edges, and much of it looks ruined, burnt, destroyed. What will you do? You can see a great wood off to your northwest, and some fields way out in the distance, some many miles away.
I think we're right here by the stones. Maybe we should go check that out.
Okay. It is.
I just want to know what my mute friends think.
It is late summer, and it is 6 o'clock in the evening. So there's still light. Maybe not.
I don't want to be.
Maybe not late summer. Let's say early summer, kind of like where we are now, in our DST, in our daylight savings time, in our spring forward, gain an extra hour of daylight. It's 6 p.m.
Maybe we should see if we can find shelter for the night rather than deal with the standing stones in the dark when all the barrel weights come out.
It's probably 3 hours of light still.
Okay, so
Yeah, that
And I
seems.
hear that Morgan is for the stones.
yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, let's check out the stones for now since we have a little bit of light left.
Very
Okay.
good.
The stones. The stones.
It's not a good sign if he's already got it in his head.
And I'm just checking my notes.
You do that. I'm painting a green gem.
Yeah, so closing up on the position of these standing stones, you can see that they stand in a natural depression in an earth, kind of like a very not like a ravine, but more like a just a big swath, a big depression, a big what would you call that?
A
OP,
dell?
a dell. Yes, like a dell.
Sort of the opposite of a hill.
Yes, exactly, the opposite of a hill, a dell. And you can see these huge stone slabs that are kind of arranged in a circle, one facing the other as they make their circular structure. And you can just feel the energy crackling off of them.
Is there any writing? Hey, Nils, you forgot to mute.
Yeah, I think what happens is I'm packing on top of my keyboard, so as I move stuff around, I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, I get it. That's why I'm letting you know. Makes me want cereal. I just. Ooh, I'm rather pleased with myself here.
Opie is Opie the one who can read anything?
Yes, that's what I was going to ask if there's any written language that we can see. Opie also cannot be surprised.
And you also leave no trace when you step, right? Because of your floating boots?
Well, even before the floating boots, I left no step, but now the boots guarantee it.
Right. Well, now they also guarantee your silence, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I tend to do the scouting.
There are no runes, there are no carvings, there are no words lettered upon these stones, though there is some symbology, some numerology, something that seems.
Is it similar to what I saw with the old man when I first discovered the earth powers I have
Yes.
and when was doing ley lines?
Yes, old and ancient and spiritual.
See, this is what I say is before the new gods, before the old gods, before all the gods was nature. And Ichabod would say, yes, but this is the one God. That is what you're recognizing, Opie. This is a regular conversation they have.
Right.
This is coming from the agnostic guy in the group.
I know. I love it. So good. Let's see, what is folklore, nature, and magic. Yeah, I mean, I think you recognize, Morgan, that some of these are like planetology, like almost like archaeology, astrology, astronomy. This weird, what you know to be astrology, right? It's kind of this weird blend between astronomy and astrology.
Yeah.
Science mixed with handed down stories and tales about the stars and the moons and the places beyond our precious little Earth. So yes, I mean these are all the kind of the senses, the feelings that you're getting off of this place as you sort of explore it. I don't. Has anybody gone down into the dell, or are you just sort of
No.
looking at the stones from? And the dell is at a depression of about at its center point, maybe 30 feet. So but the
Not very.
stones almost come to the edge of that dell. They don't quite break the plane of the dell there, but they are quite tall, massive and huge. None are toppled, none stand atop another. It's just these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 great stones all facing one another.
While they are radiating some kind of disruption in the arcane forces, does it feel malignant or just like out
No,
of
it's
balance?
like no, it's not even that. It's just like a convergence.
Which I would expect of ley lines, and that's why the circle is here.
Okay, Morgan goes down into the dell, and you just see her hair as she's walking down towards the stones. It just kind of goes up in like this big, like a halo, a mane,
Like
a corona, like just it's not standing on end, but it's kind of floating and like
Sailor Moon.
Yeah, Sailor Moon.
Opie's right behind her, and I have my bow.
Okay.
Drawn. I made Will a promise.
Right.
Plus, speaking of which, and Ethan's condition tonight reminded me, I assume that the silent sign language that Opie and Will used on that mission, that Morgan knows all of it, because she and Will, were so close. I'm sure he taught her that. So when there's times that we need to be silent, I'm sure the two of us can communicate through, when need be.
Yeah, Ethan's good at the silent communication over here.
He is, and he's also good at putting arcane armor on.
Yeah, so you're going to cast arcane armor.
Oh, that's not good for us, is it?
Okay, that happened in the morning. All right.
Better now than later.
I guess so. By the way, anybody get anything really cool at level 6?
I actually didn't pick up on that we were leveling, so I haven't checked.
What? It's a new adventure. We're level 6.
Do you need to do that now, Nils? I still have some notes I need to catch up on too.
Well, I gained 3. I gained 3 health. And what was it I just added to Opie? Opie has a new ability. Oh, it's I love this one. It's called Reveal Weakness. And we want to pay attention to the order we're doing things in, because I can use an action or triggered action on my turn to choose one target creature within our reach, or my reach. For 1 round, each member of your group that attacks the target makes the attack roll with a boon. So it's like, I think its left front leg is hurt. Hit the left front leg, and so everybody gets a boon for 1 turn.
Right, and when it says within your reach, I think that means within your melee, right?
I assume that as well. Yeah, yeah. I don't think it'd be bow fire. I think it would then say or ranged. But it also, that's something I can use again and again, isn't it? That's not.
It is, yeah. It's just it's a triggered action, so
it's not a spell. That's what I'm still. God, level 6, and I'm still learning the game.
Yeah, I think the way I've been thinking about it, and I'm not by no means a player, so I'm not even wrestling with half the stuff you guys are in terms of your character development and enhancements, is that triggered actions they often provide a condition under which the action will become triggered, right? So it might say, as a triggered action on your turn, or as a triggered action XYZ.
When attacked.
Right, exactly. So that means that when this condition occurs, that action will be triggered.
Morgan's got a heck of a spell there.
I muted Nils.
We're going to call him Captain Crunch.
He's going to have to unmute himself through the Google Hangout. If he can do that. If he can't, he'll just have to type at me.
That's it.
Captain Crunch, I like it, yeah.
That's
so that's
cool
one thing to think about for for triggered actions, or one way to think about them, if that's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
well,
you cast.
It does help because I couldn't quite figure out why it says you can enaction or a triggered action. I'm like, well, aren't they the same thing? But no, they're not. So thank you.
Right. Okay. Is anybody? I know that Morgan has gone down, and it sounds like Morgan, you've gone down into the center of the stones to cast this spell.
How did he unmute himself?
I don't know.
Sorry.
Oh God, I love it.
I do too. It's half the fun.
Morgan's gone down down into the dell, into the center of the stones to cast this spell, and is anybody staying up on the above the dell? Is anybody still, or is everybody going down into this depression in the earth around the stones? I think Opie, you are going with Morgan, right, to watch over her. Or are you watching over her from above? Where are you, Opie? What are you doing?
I'm right behind her.
Okay.
I'll kind of go halfway down the dell, just to kind of keep a more general eye over the whole area, but not stay up at the top.
Okay.
That is impressive. It's a trait. Oh my God, you could do it again and again.
Oh, this is Morgan's enhancement for level 6 empowered spell. You cast an attack spell. You get 2 boons, and impose 2 banes made on challenges to resist. Oh, empowered spell, enlarged spell, far spell, lasting spell, potent spell. You get all of these things? No? Is that a yes or no? Oh, you choose when you cast. I gain 1. Oh, you gain a strain, and the strain is when you blow up, right? Who was the name of the fellow that you blew up? I'm trying to remember his name. No, gosh darn it.
Father Ricardo.
Rudolfo, right? And it's Rudolfo's spirit that Morgan carries within herself now, who occasionally whispers to her. Yeah. Prophecies from the old gods. All right, interesting. So you can do these things to enlarge the spell, make it further, make it longer duration, make it more potent. Are you doing any of those things now when you cast Arcane Art? No, you don't want to gain a strain. And when you gain strain, does it reset every day, or how does the strain? Okay, resets every day. Okay, so the spell cooks off the arcane armor, but how does the armor manifest itself around you? Rest at the end of the day, and right, or when you blow up. Gideon, make a perception challenge with a bane because you're halfway down the dell.
I thought you were going to say halfway or not. Yeah, okay. Gideon. Perception. There you go. Made it. I assume. Yes, I did.
Okay, so you see a figure emerging from the woods. Let me show you where you can see it. A lone figure. Darn it. Somewhere around here, and it's making its way with some haste towards the verge. Towards verge.
Towards Verge? So it's he's moving to the city, not necessarily towards us.
Correct.
All right, okay.
You don't think he's seen you. But you do see him make a start, like a freeze when the arcane armor spell goes off, because there's this blast of light of this magical energy spewing out of Morgan and wrapping her body with these vine-like tendrils of this nature-esque armor. But all of these stone plates, whack, 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 start forming around it. It's heavy. It's heavier than you've experienced before, Morgan. It's weighing you down, but you sense that if this armor will be with you longer. Its existence is more tangible upon your person.
Okay,
and
I'm done packing plates.
Once the freezing for a moment, you can see him kind of. I mean, it's like looking at a figure a mile away. He starts to move even faster towards Verge. It starts to move even faster towards Verge. A figure, a distance. Opie, what are you doing? Peter, what are you doing? Peter,
sorry, I was on mute there. I was wondering why none of my funny lines were getting any from me. I am right behind Morgan, trying to keep an eye
so
from
you're like
side to side.
flung back as this, this enormous convergence, a surge of energy, pent up magical powers released or called forth through the summoning that Morgan has made with the spell. You're not hurt. Whoa. You're just sort of like you kind of
pushed
back a few steps, 3 or 4 steps, like.
She seems okay. You all right?
She's fine. She's unhurt. She is, but she's different. Surrounded by vine and bark. You've seen this before, but these stone plates are.
I've never seen these stone plates.
Something new.
We're all changing. This is strange.
Gideon, what are you doing?
I am.
Sorry. What will you do, Gideon?
Right. I assume that I kind of just walked down was on the side of the depression.
Yeah, you were
we were coming from. So I'm going to kind of start quickly walking towards in the direction, but not coming up out of the depression towards the guy where the guy was, or the person, the object was.
Okay, so let me draw the dell just for a frame of reference.
Ding dong dell, pussy's in the well. I'm painting my last 2 objective markers. And if I get off my ass, a hobbit gangster. Not that anybody asked.
I'd like to see some pictures when you're done. Let's see, Gideon. So you had kind of started coming down the dell. You then saw this kind of flash of movement, which paused, and you looked across the lip of the dell and saw this figure hurrying. There was this flash of magical energy. The figure stopped and then moved twice as fast towards Verge.
Right. So I'm assuming that I was kind of standing about here because it was like from the direction we came from. So I'm going to move over to about here.
Okay, and just watch what's happening there.
Just watch.
Okay. So you can see the figure just scampering away into the distance, and eventually it disappears amongst the ruins.
He disappears on the Verge? See, some quality Verge jokes that were just nothing. I'm like, are they that bad?
He's on the verge of disappearing. I think that's what you're going for.
That's it. That's it.
Morgan, what will you do? Aside from tick down your casting from your character sheet, which I'm sure you've already done because you're good at that. But it's my DM due diligence.
And we respect you for it. Ow, motherfucker.
Closing your eyes, you feel the energy of your spell and the additional energy from the magical convergence coursing through you. In a quick thought conversation with Rodolfo before telling Opie that she's okay, and begins to slowly walk out of the dell towards Opie. Your steps are lumbering, and you move with a kind of a slow swaying purpose.
I don't know, lass. I don't know if I've never seen that.
Yeah. Maybe a sapling.
Yeah. Looking
All right.
encased.
Good. What will you do, gentlemen and lady?
Has I assume Gideon's let us know he saw somebody, and he's letting us know.
He is. He's watched. You see, he's been watching this figure. It's made no move towards you, and it's slowly disappearing amongst the ruins and the rubble of the city that you can now see in the outskirts. About an hour's passed.
I say we go check that out.
Okay. You want to head for the town. You want to head for the.
We should converge on that guy.
Okay. Converge. Okay, good.
You're like, yeah, too bad he's not on mute again.
Are you just going to follow the road?
I assume it's the easiest, most direct way in. It makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a well-traveled path. All right, so take a walk a mile, run a mile in about. I can run a mile in about 10 minutes, and I can run a mile in about 5 minutes. So maybe, yeah, it takes maybe 30 minutes to kind of make your way up to the edge of the ruins here, and I'm going to draw kind of some boundaries here so you can kind of get a sense of what you're looking at. All this area within the marking that I'm drawing is all strewn ruins and rubble.
Are there bodies?
No, you've seen no bodies.
Is there blood?
You've seen some markers, some graves, maybe some hastily dug graves or prepared graves, but they're kind of few and far between. There's a cairn there, some 50 feet off to your left, with a large marker atop it.
So maybe there was a plague as the kind of, maybe something hit them quickly.
Something's clearly, something terrible's happened here, but it looks like it happened over a period of time, for a long period of time. I'm just skimming my notes here. I want to give you a few of the key
I'm
details.
Gonna go refill my iced tea.
Okay. While Peter's away, I'm going to do the same. I'll be back with you guys.
Lucy, I'm home. Oh, I'm old.
Okay, are we all back?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. So this area that's sort of drawn out in red on the map is the rubble and the ruins. Those square buildings that you see on the map are those that are a little more substantial, a little more intact. And but in the distance, you can see a ramshackle wall that's been built by obviously been built by reclaimed materials from these ruins and rubble. And you know, and much of what's inside this specific area here is all burned out and crumbling structures. You can see the flash of movement here or there, maybe a wild animal, maybe a squatter, or maybe something more horrific, but nothing that comes out and addresses you specifically. The structures are wooden. They're built on stone foundations, so there's some like burned out basements and things like that. There are some that are partially intact with kind of peaked roofs. And again, you can see this quite fairly impressive wall here in the center of this once thriving town. What will you do?
I think we should approach the wall and see if we can enter.
Okay.
Though watching for, silhouettes on the ramparts.
You can see a few sort of like makeshift watchtowers here, and there's clearly a gate there beneath this watchtower, and you assume, well, you can't. You assume there could be other gates, but you approach the tower, and you can see the movement of men up in the tower. Let's see, what will you do?
I think we should. Well, I think somebody with a higher charisma should make a greeting. Let's see. I don't think I'm the most likable guy, if I recall correctly.
Stop! You can see a man drawing a bow.
We stop.
Declare yourselves. Who creeps upon our town? We do not recognize you. Back, brigands! Back!
Hail! We are from the militia. Where are we, the militia? What are we? Do we have a title or anything, or we're just from the city of Crossings?
You're from the city of Crossings.
We're from the city of Crossings.
I mean, you can make up a title if you want.
They wouldn't know otherwise.
Opie's probably not adverse to doing something like that.
We're marshals. We're marshals from the city of Crossings. We were guarding a caravan who headed out. We're waiting for one of our companions, and sensed you may have a problem here. I see by your hastily built defenses you do have a problem here. Are the ebony men still a problem? Because they're kind of not a problem anymore in the Crossings, right?
They've been largely driven away.
That's what I thought. So, questioning if, is there still a problem with that here? Because we've driven them away.
Wait there. And there's like some commotion and some haranguing up in the guard tower.
I have no weapons in my hands.
Okay. All right. You didn't actually throw that spell, did you, Gideon?
Or, no, I'm sorry. I'm
futzing with your stuff. Sure. No problem.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just
He's showing us what he got.
No, I had that before. I'm just editing text.
Gotcha. Oh, very good idea. But if it was going to help us, he did it.
The gate creaks open, and out from, but you can see like lots of, a few people, not a lot, like 5 or 6, like people peeking and peering through the gate, trying to get a better look at you. Now up in the guard tower, there are like 4 or 5 archers. They all have their bows present. They're not drawn or aiming at you, but they're, they have their weapons at the ready.
But they could be.
They could be quite easily.
Yeah, I got it. That's how we stand on our wall.
That's what soldiers do, right?
Damn straight. And I can respect them for it.
Anyone make a perception challenge? No, straight, flat.
I've got a -1, so probably better somebody else. Oh, yeah.
You do it, Gideon.
I already did a perception challenge earlier and saw the guy running.
+3 only gave me a 5. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I can't be surprised.
You are not surprised. That's true. You do. Though that's a good call out, Morgan, about the amulet. Though this is but Opie beat you to the punch.
Oh, I'm sorry. Next time, I'll pay closer attention.
Hang on, just reviewing my notes.
Just review the part that says nice children bring us cupcakes.
So this is what one of the feat or the trait that I got.
Okay, empowered symbol.
Right. Basically gives me an extra D6 when I'm using my spell school of choice.
Which is
Theurgy.
Theurgy.
Right.
What does that mean? Theurgy?
I don't know.
Creation or summoning or something?
No, it's all about like divine wrath. That's where that god hammer, Thor's hammer spell that I got, and the chain lightning spell.
Chain lightning. Go chain lightning.
Right. So
that was.
So I had the brilliant idea of actually putting references of my traits in my spells, so they remind me when I use them that, oh yeah, I've got these traits that buff the spell.
That's a good idea.
That's a very good idea.
Theurgy, the practice of rituals, sometimes seen as magical in nature, performed with the intention of invoking the action or evoking the presence of one or more deities.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Especially with the goal of achieving henosis and perfecting oneself. Interesting.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
Gideon had come equipped with a gun to shoot off the legs of his rival.
Yeah, so limping from the gate comes
Doctor Who? Which one is it?
Doctor Who, a stodgy old man.
Oh, it wasn't David Tennant.
He's limping and using the cane to kind of this big staff, and you can see that it's a staff of like some sort of office, some sort of authority, some kind of station. As he comes kind of limping his way through the gate, and He looks up at you with one weeping eye and this weird, like, kind of scar on one side of his face that kind of gives him like this weird upturned smile. On that same side with the weeping eye.
Mm.
I am the elder Zeke, mayor of this town.
Yes, you
What
are.
do you want? What is your favorite color? Sorry. I am the mayor of this town. And he kind of leans forward onto his staff. He's too short to put his hands on top of it, but he kind of leans into it, peers at you.
What?
Why have you come to Verge?
We sensed a great disturbance.
Oh, you're too late. That disturbance has already ravaged this place. And he sort of makes this wild gesticulation around.
What happened?
What didn't happen? He spits. First, the Ebony Men, they came when I had just taken up my mantle of mayor of this cursed place. There's lots of murmuring of assent. They've all like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
They plucked the children from our beds, tormented our livestock, burned our crops. Then the beasts, the great wolves, terrorized the place. They laid siege. We sent out the militias. We tried to drive them to the place. No one came. No one helped us. We were alone, trapped in our houses, trapped in our homes, trapped on the verge.
Well, the Verge fared better than many towns. Many towns are gone. There's many, many, many ruins between here and the city of Crossings, where we're from.
There's a cry of distress from, behind the walls. What about blah, 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 my sister? At blah, blah.
Yeah,
Things they can't quite make out, but
right.
Lots of, and the crowd's getting bigger at the gates. Not that much bigger. Now it's maybe it was like 4 or 5. Now it's like 9 or 10. And now, finally, the crossing sends you. What can you do? Where's Morgan right now?
Probably not the best question to ask.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had suspected. Maybe behind the 2 larger men stands the small sapling of Morgan. Says, "Who's that there with you? Who's that? Who's that? What is that?" And he takes 2-3 steps back, sliding back on his, hobbling back on his cane, on his sword, his staff of office.
Mr. Mayor, that is our companion. She wears ensorcelled armor.
Sorcery. That's a foul business, I'll say. What do you want? Why are you here? You sense the disturbance? I've shown you it. This whole place has been disturbed. And now you've disturbed us even more with your tales about the fallen towns and cities around us. We're barely surviving, eking out an existence here.
You said earlier, Aaron, that the stones represent a convergence of power, not the disturbance itself.
Correct.
Okay.
But I think this was the first thing this is what drew Morgan's attention to this, to the Verge itself. And, it was this convergence of power, something that hadn't been sensed before by you all, but something's pulled you here. And perhaps it was the stones, perhaps it was something else.
I think it was something else. Well, I'm going to tell the mayor that I don't know what we can do to help. All I know is that the gods have sent us to you, and the gods have sent us here. So we're going to stay here and find what we need to find. If we can help you, we will help you. If not, then I'm sorry. If you wish to come back with us to crossings when we go, you may come with us.
No, our home, our place is here.
Well, then we'll make sure those in crossings know
who
you
of
are
you
here.
amongst you is a healer? Who here is a healer? You, strange tree girl?
Actually, she has healing, doesn't she? Gideon has some healing, doesn't he? Or does it just
I
leave
think he
Bibles?
does. But
he actually just got it with his. It's not really healing. It's more of a long-term hit point buff. I'm just adding it right now.
Well, if you're a hero, tree girl, then come into this place. We have sick that need to be tended.
Tree girl, that's cool.
And he turns and he sort of drags his leg behind him as he limps into this kind of rickety, ramshackly gatehouse. Looking around inside beyond on the far side of the walls, this place is not in much better shape than the rest of the ruins. There are damaged and destroyed houses here beyond the walls, behind the walls, but there are a few more attacked, and there are clearly people here. So you have met the Elder Zeke, the mayor of Verge.
I'm going to start thinking of him as Zeke the Fortunate.
Zeke the Fortunate because he survived?
No, because I'm ironic.
Oh, okay.
Hope he's a sarcastic guy.
And tomorrow we'll hold a wedding, or maybe the next day or the day after that.
What wedding?
She still has my betrothed. It's not quite yet accepted my proposal. And he'd sort of, and he'd start kind of muttering to himself now.
Uh-oh. Oh, crap. We got to deal with a crazy person. So, who's getting married?
I'm getting married.
That's wonderful.
The finest girl in town. She'll be mine. She'll be mine, as is my right.
Oh, this is not good.
And of course, that exactly is the whole source of the disruption. Sure.
I was just having the same thought. Oh, a major Me Too moment here. All right. Okay, we're going to have to teach this guy that no means no.
All right. What will you do? So, the mayor kind of waves you towards a building. He says, that's the hospital is there. Tend to our poor citizens if you can. And he waves you off, and he starts stamping his way up the stairs of the to a big broad porch of the finest house. I mean, this house is nice. This house is still in some kind of shape, some kind of condition. Divine aid from Gideon Bees.
So this is the new spell that I got.
Each target gets 15 bonus health for the duration.
For 1 hour, plus a d6 because of my trait. And
Empowered
it's each creature.
Spell. Mm-hmm.
Right. Each creature within a short range. So that means that I can do it on multiple people.
Right. It's just like this blast of
right.
A blessing.
So I can basically heal up to 20 points everyone in the party for an hour.
It's like bonus health. It's like
yes, I see what you're saying. It increases your health beyond your normal limits.
Right.
Good
so
point.
If you were,
I was thinking of more of a heal, but yeah.
It's like an invigoration. Like that's how.
I think Morgan already has something like that. Somebody has something like that where they have or is that Gideon who has a certain number of bonus hit points, and those are the ones he loses first in combat.
That's Yukufa when he sucks up the spells, or when he sucks up the souls, or something.
That was it. That was it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you want to minister to the sick and the dying, Gideon? Is that your plan with this ability, with this spell?
No, I was just sharing it.
Got you.
As I was done upgrading the because this is not something that would be. It's an hour duration, so it's not something that's permanent. I will still try to minister to the dying, but more in a come to Astrid, the new god, and certainly try to do any kind of thing, anything I can do to try to ease their pain. But I really don't have any curative powers.
Make a perception check, flat, Gideon.
Oh, not that again.
Well,
I think that actually is very appropriate that Gideon, the new god acolyte, is somewhat imperceptive. Oh, there we go. 19.
Except this time.
So coming through the gatehouse, and you can see all these icons, all these markers of the old gods, like just splattered and scattered all around the place.
Damn it! When do I get to play with my friends?
The invading army is your friends.
I know. Let's go see them. Okay. Okay. So maybe I won't.
I'm just giving you some context about the town, the place where you are.
Yep.
Morgan approaches the hospital in her tree-like visage, and climbs the steps. One of her great weighted foot going through a rotted step. She drags herself out and into the hospital itself. And there's a cry, a commotion, a fear as this creature reaches the hospital walls, hospital door.
I'm right there with her.
What will you do?
Tell everybody to calm down. She's here to help. I'm opening the door so she doesn't break it.
Okay.
Marvel, she's turning into even more of an anime character.
Make a will challenge with a. Do you have anything that would give you a benefit, a boon, Opie? To calm the crowd, to calm the sick, to calm the dying?
Probably not, but let me take a look here. Oh no. Ichabod might, but definitely I'm a guide fence.
Not Opie.
No.
Take a bane because of your weirdness. You're a stranger.
Certainly. So this is a willpower?
A will challenge. Looking for 10 plus with a bane. Neg 1. Yep.
No, they're pretty freaked.
So they're pretty freaked.
We'll see what the mayor does. He'll probably freak him out more. I have a feeling he's done with this, right? He's gone back to his home, his house, his place, his palace. And out of the crowd, you see a figure, a man in brown robes, and he says, "Wait, friends, let me go first." He pushes his way through past the two of you and into the room. There are only 2 or 3 people in here. Two people on beds, one person trying to minister to them as best they can. One of the fellows has a great gash in his arm. The other one is, racked by a fever, shivering under some, thin blankets. And he speaks some calming words, "These men have come from the city. They're here from the crossings. They're here to help us. They're here to help you. Though their appearance is strange and hard, do not fear them. I will stay by your side." And he takes up the hand of the fevered wretch, and cradles it gently. What will you do?
Hello,
Morgan. Opie.
Oh, well, I figure Morgan's doing the typing. We would wait for her to type.
Okay.
There we go. Cast a spell.
And casts a cure.
hello.
I can hear you.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, there we go. For
his
some reason, my
headset.
Bluetooth my Bluetooth disconnected
And
from my
reconnected.
headset and reconnected on its own. So, okay.
Yes. So you cast your healing spell, and the gash, slowly starts to close, and there's still a wound there, but it's much better than it was before. His healing rate is not that good, right? Just a commoner, just a man, just a person. But you can tell that he won't die.
Not immediately.
And there's an amazement from the nurse. I mean, in part because of your personage, right? This walking tree. And the man in the brown robes that's holding the hand of the wretch, these brown mud-stained robes, says, "I am Xavier. I can see that you are a creature, that you are
Unique individuals, sir. That's how I like to think of us.
and he chuckles. Unique, yes, I was at a loss for words. I was going to say creatures of the woods.
Well, right on both counts, especially talking about my little friend there.
And he takes a look at kind of your woodsman clothing. But he says, but why do you travel with one clearly of representing the new faith, the new gods, those cursed beings?
Well, you know what? A lot of us have been talking, and there's been enough of this new god, old god fighting. They're all kind of gods as far as I'm concerned. And my buddy, he's kind of crazy, but he says there isn't new gods or old gods. He says there's only one god, and they're all faces of that guy. So, it's just not worth killing each other over anymore. We have greater enemies, the Ebony Men. There's other things going on, and the gods fighting over the gods, that does the work of the enemy.
He kind of shakes his head, and I'm not sure about what you're saying there, friend, but I thank you for your help and your ministration to these poor wretches. Healing
And for the record,
berries.
Opie is technically an old god worshiper, so he understands.
Mm-hmm.
No, you double check it, but I'm pretty sure he was old god as well.
I
as
think so.
Ichabod.
Or possibly no god.
Yeah, well, he's pretty much agnostic completely, but yeah. That's why I said he believes more in what was before all the gods.
Yeah, family tradition of the old gods, right?
Right.
Pardon me. Cool. You learned from Xavier, that he's a priest of the old gods, the old faith, priest of the woods, the old wood. He watches over that old wood, sort of, waves towards that gnarled fringe of the wood that you can see off there to the west from the city.
Was it you we saw running from the wood to the city earlier?
Was it you I saw summoning great forces and magics within the standing stones? I feared for my life.
Isn't perception an interesting thing, my friend?
It is. Though I had not the strength to stand against someone that could trigger those energies in such a way.
I'm going to nod over to Morgan. Neither do I.
I myself am charged with protecting the old woods from demons, devils, and spawns from the shadow. I drive them back.
Has there been anything
I keep them away. I watch the watch. Oh, there's always something new. There's always something trying to wind its way free from the old wood. Now, recently, I have not seen it. My ministrations have been strong enough. They have kept these things at bay.
I doubt it not. Can I ask a question closer to home? The mayor seems very excited about a wedding that is also sounds doubtful. It sounds like there's more to this story than he is letting on.
A wedding?
He claims that the most beautiful woman in the village will soon be his.
I keep my hamlet some many days within the wood itself. It took me 3 days to arrive here at the verge. I've lost my son Caven. I thought he may have come here, and I'd come searching for him here in the town. Though I've only just arrived, and I've seen no sight of him.
What does he look
Son.
like? We'll help
And he
you.
says, he turns to the nurse. He says, "My son, Caven, you know him. A fine-looking lad. Shocking brown hair, piercing blue eyes. You know him, right?" And the nurse, she shakes her head. A fortnight ago. But it's not uncommon for him to wander the woods himself. I raised him, my son, as my son.
As your son, sir?
Well, I have no wife, but a babe in my arms, and he needed milk, so that's the wretch on the bed.
It is. Nice ABR. Well done. Interesting.
While you ponder that a moment, let me check in with the wife. I didn't know if she was calling me.
I have some very interesting synergies between 808's new ability and a new spell, Artificer spell.
Oh, nice.
The ability allows him to concentrate on something he's made out of his Artificer bag and transfer a spell into it and give it to someone else, and then that person can use that spell.
Oh, basically it's a scroll machine.
Exactly.
Nice.
But then that Artificer bag item will last until a rest, and basically you could make one every morning.
Nice.
Okay. Well, actually, it doesn't say it's every one. It sounds like you could do more than one. But
sorry,
you have to transfer a spell into it.
Ethan was wondering when did Caven disappear, and I'm wondering, didn't we have another adventure recently with a missing boy?
That was the first adventure, yeah.
That was like the mayor's son there too, but I'm sure it was a much smaller place. So
I think when a bunch of people in your town die off, you can just call yourself mayor, is what it seems like.
True.
If you have the staff of office, I mean, you could be the mayor. I mean,
that's it.
You're old enough, people probably listen to you, maybe. If you're rich enough, maybe. Ow.
What the hell? That color doesn't go there. It goes there.
Sorry, I'm just taking some notes.
That's right. I'm just fighting my arthritis.
To address Morgan's question about when did Caven disappear, he disappeared maybe a fortnight ago, but it's not unusual for him to be, to wander the woods himself. After all, he is my son, and I did raise him. I raised him in the way of the woods. He helps me.
He came from the woods.
In placing the charms and ensuring the talismans, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, Opie understands exactly what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Watching for the signs.
And I'll discuss this in the ley lines, and I understood that the circle, I could. And none of those towers are around this convergence. That's good. That may be why they survived.
A few more people sort of kind of trickle into the infirmary, into the hospital space. It's nothing more than a long hall, and with their ailments, their toothache, their whatever, and let's see how many more there are besides the two. How many more clamor for your attention, Morgan. It's just 2 more. So it seemed as if you had some berries from which you could pluck from your branches that provided a bit of healing energy. Is that right?
That's flippin' cool.
I think you said that was right. I'm sorry, I was juggling screens trying to be able to see what.
He's shaking his head. Yes,
Yeah.
three berries.
Cool. So
Or
it sounds like
white
a
power. I couldn't figure out what that was.
spell and some berries and all is well with these folks that have presented themselves to your administration.
That's how you get them.
You're in the wrong business. What will you do? Fuck.
So we've got a missing kid, and we've got
a fucked up town,
a messed up town has some sort of out of whack arcane power.
And the there's something crazy going on at the mayor, and I have a feeling he's involved with something bad.
And there's probably something having to do with this wood, maybe. So
I think so too. I think we should go check out the wood.
It's kind of like a Euro game. You can't it's like resource management. You have to figure out which one of the paths to victory you're going to, which economy engine you're going to go down to try to get to the end.
And the whole mayor thing's got me a little creeped out because the last time he dealt with a bride, she turned out to be a demon that ate Will. So,
right, yeah.
Was she a bride? No, she was just
she was betrothed or a girlfriend. The rich kid.
Well, let's do this. Since we're in town, why don't we spend the evening trying to talk the rest of their citizens up to find out more about the mayor situation, because it's going to take an hour or 2 to get to the woods anyway, and we're not going to do that tonight.
No, exactly. I think that's a good idea.
And then we can also try to, while we're talking to people about the mayor, we can also try to talk to people and see if there's about this kid.
Okay.
Either find out more information about him, or see people seeing him.
And Opie's thing is the not talking directly, but kind of listening to what's going on, and then the conversations that are had after Gideon walks away.
Yeah.
Well, that's just Opie's
thing. See him?
Yeah.
You really let them in here?
You gonna tell them the kid's got 2 heads and fangs? No, I'm not gonna tell them that. They'll find out soon enough. That kind of stuff.
We're gonna ask Xavier if he has a place for the group to stay.
No. I mean, when I come, I rarely come to the Verge, only on the most desperate errand or in search of supplies. There is a possibility there is a tavern, the Green Man. You could inquire after rooms there. I mean, but he waves about the place. I mean, or sleep in one of these hovels. As I do. I mean, I shelter here behind these walls for as little time as possible. I'll seek word of my son, and then I must return. I must return to my duties in the Old Wood to hold back the darkness.
Well, we're gonna stay the night here, and we might just go assist you with your duties. Go check things out.
More hands for my labors. He looks at the tree and says, at the sapling, Morgan. He has no idea that you're not a tree. She's
like a naiad.
Yeah,
I mean a dryad.
Yeah, fascinated by the whole.
So I guess I'm confused. Why, if she has stone plates on her, why does she look like a tree?
Well, they're like plates of stone about her. Not.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
I thought it was kind of like stone armor.
not it's stone mixed in with the bark, with the wood, with the vines.
She looks almost like an earth elemental.
Okay. All right.
Hang on, I'm just taking some notes.
That's right.
You can I will ask what I think I heard you say you would do is inquire after rooms at the inn.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good public place to have conversations and overhear conversations.
I'm going to need just 5 minutes to tie up my notes because there's a lot of moving parts going on here. So just let me do that, and
you do that.
Just give me 5 minutes, and I'll be with you.
Are you painting now, Nils?
No, unfortunately, because I still have a really bad cough, I would keep Erica up. So she's still sleeping in the extra bedroom downstairs, which is where my painting place is. So I didn't want to
wake her up.
Well, I didn't want to sit up to play there and then keep her up later than she wanted to be. But I did bring up
good
some
husband.
Stuff. I did bring up some stuff to work on, which I'll get to sooner or later, maybe. So let me finish telling you about this cool synergy that I have.
Okay.
So I can create this basically a like you said, a scroll, whatever it is. But I have the two. I also get a spell, and the two spells are that I can choose from is either bolt thrower. I can set up a size 1 crossbow bolt thrower, independent that will independently work on its own and fire once around a bolt that can do 2d6 damage. Basically a PDS system, or caltrops, a circle on the ground with a 5-yard radius, meaning 30 feet across. Jagged metal bits erupt from the origin point, covering all the horizontal surfaces in the area for the duration. Creature that enters or moves across the area must get a success on agility challenge, or make a d6 or take d6 plus 1 damage and become slowed. If the creature was already slowed in this way, it falls prone and becomes immobilized. The creature removes this slowed or immobilization when it heals the damage, which means even if he moves out of the area, he's not going to be unslowed or immobilized. So my thought is I use this gadget trait and then apply one of these two spells and give it to somebody else.
Wow, that's a cool idea.
So just, but I have to pick one of these two spells, and I'm trying to figure out which one would probably be a better,
more versatile.
More versatile. Yeah.
I love the idea of the self-shooting ballista though, and then you could actually encode it on like a crossbow, and you just you put the blessing or whatever it is on the crossbow, and you give it to your friend, and then they can set it off. Just boom! I got an auto. Well, it's been a week. We have 7 of them. Let's set them up.
Well, no, because after each night's rest, the artifice bag item disintegrates.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
but I guess I'm short term.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to figure out since we're all probably going to be together, I don't see a lot of benefit of me being able to put it into something and handing it to somebody else, as opposed to me just being able to cast it.
Yeah, because if you put it into something, then you still cast it because you use the slot, right?
Yeah. It's not like it's not like I'm effectively getting able to cast it twice. So.
We'll see. Maybe it'll be a thing where the goblin can go somewhere that you can't. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Like for example, that would have been brilliant to have the caltrops created, hand it to Wretch, have him teleport somewhere, or the bolt thrower, and then drop it, and then come back, and then it would either cover our retreat. That's my big thing. I'm thinking is we can just give it to somebody and have them throw it on our retreat, or behind us as we're retreating somewhere.
Right.
Prevent people from moving through that
area. Akufa can teleport groups.
Oh yeah.
And Wretch can do that thing where he flies around as a fireball.
Right.
He's a fun character.
I figure we don't really know his real name, but that Wretch was the name. It was a sound he was making when we picked him up from the effect of the iron.
Yeah, it took us a while to figure out what he was saying anyway, so he's been Wretch ever since.
I'm not quite sure how.
Besides, Ichabod thinks he's spelled WRETCH. It's a wretched wretch.
Mm-hmm. I'm not quite sure how Boris Badenov joined our group, though.
Well, that's exactly who I thought of too. So he's going to need a tall female character to hang out with him.
Well, I'm sure that's what Morgan will grow into. So, which do you think, Caltrops or Broth Thrower? I'm sorry, I'm not watching the chat to see if Ethan's saying anything.
The bolt thrower sounds so cool, but with the caltrops, you could also put a circle around us. So, like if it's a situation with those bugs in the last fight, it just gives you a perimeter to stand your ground or whatever. You can throw it into a hallway to block someone from coming at you.
But the problem is that if we put it, or if I cast it where we're at, then we can't move.
Well, right, or you cast it in front of you as a 30-yard.
Oh, right, yeah. Right, yeah.
Or you do or you do an open circle around the group if it's if we're being swarmed again.
Well, I don't think it allows that granularity. It just says a circle on the ground within 5-yard radius.
Gotcha. So it wouldn't be an open circle; it'd just be like a circular template.
Right.
Yeah, definitely place that bad thing right in front of you in a bottleneck.
Yeah, but it also does only last 1 minute. So if we're able to stay in place for 6 rounds, then we could put it around us.
But that's also you put it in front of you. That's damage to a charging opponent, which might even give you a boon when you're attacking them because it surprised them or they didn't expect it, or maybe they get a bane when they're attacking you because of again unexpected explosions at their feet, or I guess they're just sharp little objects or like giant jacks.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, Ethan. I don't know if you got his message, but he updated her profile picture on the character sheet. That and Yakufa now too. And Yakufa is we already kind of knew that.
Where is that?
On the character sheets.
I also have to go into his character sheet. I see. Oh, I see. There's a picture. Oh, no, that's Wretch. Oh, yeah. Well, he already did that. Oh, she's so cute. Now she's covered in vines and rocks. Yeah, I haven't painted figures for my guys. I should just dig up someone's I already got, really, because I've got plenty.
Mm-hmm.
And all my latest stuff is Hobbit gangsters, and it's just not going to work. Oh, God, 5 more days of teaching in spring break.
So I was emailing with John yesterday, and he says, "Oh, by the way, we're in Sacramento watching, a one-night only anime movie." And I said, "You're crazy! You're driving from Sonoma to pick up the kid in Davis to go to Sacramento, and then driving back." And he's on spring break this week. So, but yeah.
What movie was he watching?
Made in Abyss, I think.
Oh yeah.
They were showing it here in Sacramento, and actually in 3 different theaters. I saw that it was playing and was considering asking if Grace wanted to go, but I didn't know enough about the movie to know if it was something she'd be interested in or even appropriate.
Yeah. I just watched a interesting Studio Ghibli documentary, and one thing I noticed, the obvious things, strong female characters and a strong environmental message, but the strong environmental message actually, as the documentary was pointing out, a lot of things, it was just one small piece of it, was that it's actually everything he does is rooted in Shinto. And part of Shinto is a great respect for nature. And because everything in nature is connected, and everything in nature has spirits, and every spirit is connected to nature, which is connected to us, which is connected to everything in the universe. And so nature deserves respect just for being itself. And then I realized every Miyazaki film has spirits in it. The Totoros are spirits, it's just interesting. It's just or if it if not spirits, then awfully close.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Actually, Erica sent me a link to an alleged Ghibli deal of all 16 or 17 movies for $60. And I started looking, and it was like a box set. So it was, you just get the movie, not and there's like 3 movies on one DVD.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, let me look into this a little bit. And they said, yeah, this is some sort of scam setup. This is obviously not a officially merchandised product, and let's not do this. So,
well, if it's not done by Buena Vista, then it's not. If it's not being distributed by Buena Vista, then it's not legit.
Well, I was reading reviews, and one of them said, well, the first 5 minutes of the Totoro, we couldn't even understand the audio. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's obviously not, somebody's just making pirate copies. And I was trying to find out the information on the actual website, and it pointed me, and so I did a search for the website name, and it pointed me to somebody's article about scam email or scam shopping sites. And they made the good suggestion of you use the Internet Archive Wayback Machine and see how old the website is to see if it's something. And from what I could tell, there was no archive of it. It was like this brand new website that had just been set up like within the last month or so. Yeah. Anyway, okay, Aaron, what's up?
Is he back?
He's got his headphones on.
All right, I'm back. I was just munching something on mute.
Okay.
I'm ready. Okay.
All right.
Reset the scene in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You were at the hospital. You had been speaking with Xavian and learned a little bit about his son, Caven, who has been absent for about a fortnight or so. That's about kind of the best information that you can get. It's not uncommon for him to be absent for those, but it's a little bit longer than normal, right? So he's come looking for him here at the town of Verge, here on the Verge, here at the Verge, and you were asking about lodgings, and he had suggested the Green Man, the local tavern, the only tavern that's
remaining.
That's still remaining in this place, though it does provide such tavern-like services. And I think we were settling in on what your next course of action was. Is that right? And then I had asked so I could pause and sort of catch up my notes.
Which there are a lot of balls in the air.
There are some balls in the air up in this place.
So my suggestion was we stay in town for the evening somewhere. That we try to find, maybe try to get lodgings at the Green Man, since that seems to be a good place to talk to people. To talk to people about trying to figure out what's the deal with the mayor and his alleged bride, while also talking to people, see if they've know more about or have seen the son. So we can kind of research both ways at the same time.
And while Gideon, who is much more personable than myself, has the conversations with people, Opie does the
lurking, the shadowing, the waiting for the whispers when the conversation has died down.
Right, and reading the room. Okay. A lot of it with Opie is reading what else is going on unsaid, who's kind of keeping an eye on us. That was Opie's thing way back with level 1 and 2.
Right. Okay, good. I think it's a good plan of action. So you leave the hospital.
And involves hopefully not killing anybody.
Morgan, are you good with this? Do you have anything you want to add, or you're all right? Okay, cool.
I don't know if you saw the new pictures he added for his character sheets.
No. Are they good looking?
Morgan, yeah. It's a beautiful young girl with magic powers. Hey, it's Doctor Who.
Who?
Exactly.
Here are our characters for Morgan. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. Oh, and I like he's taking some notes here in his character sheet.
I've had some ideas. I did a few drawings. My ideas of BB 8008.
Oh, fun. I'd like to see those sketches. Yeah.
Yeah, when they're a little more thought out, I will share them.
Cool. Okay, you're leaving the hospital, making your way towards the Green Man, and twilight is fast upon us. There's a shout from the gate. He's back! He's back! Calling down. Did you find her? Where did you find her?
Who's back?
And he comes crashing through the gate. This big fellow, big axe on his shoulder, big woodsman, a big lumber woodsman's axe. Yeah, big woodsman's axe. It's a tool. It's not a weapon. But he carries it on his shoulder like it is.
He's a lumberjack, and he's okay.
And he comes storming in. He said, "No, damn it! I told you. There's been no sign of her." And he catches. Let's see. Does he catch her?
No sign of her. I'm going to marry her.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't even see. He doesn't even see you guys like standing on the stoop of the hospital, the porch of the Great Hall there. And well, that's, I guess. Well, there's a new healer in town. He's like, what? Damn it! And he like just storms off.
What? How is that a bad thing?
And he storms off, disappearing, into the twisting streets of the town of the Verge. And you find yourselves now at the Green Man. It's not hard to find. It's an antique. It's a, what do we call a vintage house, a vintage home, a Victorian home?
It's been here a long time.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This tavern, the Green Man, and it's fairly bustling. It's on the dinner hour. You can see that this is sort of a hub for the community. What's left of it. And you make your way into the tavern. It's run by a beautiful woman. I mean, not beautiful, attractive, striking. She has long jet black hair that tied back into a ponytail. It swings at the small of her back. And she's very friendly, very chatty. Her name's Elspeth. And, there's staff kind of running errands and things like that. And you kind of begin your conversations, begin your discussions with some of the patrons, some of the staff, I'm assuming, trying to get, a little bit more information about this betrothal to the mayor and the missing boy. Is that right?
Yes.
Those were kind of two avenues of questioning.
Yeah.
Sorry, just skimming my notes. Yeah, so what you do find out about the mayor is that he intends to marry a young, well, he intends to, it's kind of funny because the girl's name is Mary. He intends to marry Mary, the daughter of the local midwife. But it's a huge scandal around the town, right? Because this girl's not much older than Morgan, 16, maybe 17, but beautiful.
And this guy's ancient.
He's old. He's like really old. But it is kind of his just due as the mayor. He is the richest and wealthiest man in town, and he has come to an arrangement with her mother. So what else is there to be done? I mean, she will be wedded and bedded. But it's shocking. it's shocking.
I just solved it. The guy's son ran off with this girl, and let's live happily ever after. We can go home.
Oh no, she's still she's here.
Oh, okay. Shoot.
We don't know anything about this boy that you're talking about. Xavier's son. We didn't even know he had a son. He's never brought him into town before. Let's see. I need number.
Didn't he say he brought him into town? He approached the woman in the healing place. He said, "You know my boy with the brown hair."
Yeah, but whoever you're talking to doesn't know the boy.
Okay.
He's not a
Not that common.
Xavier's known. They know about Xavier. He's kind of this crazy old coot that lives out in the woods. Nobody goes in the woods because that place is dark and dangerous, and bad stuff comes from the woods. And Xavier comes out every once in a while, maybe trades a few bits and bobs,
Some furs.
Yeah, furs and dried meats and whatnot, and they're grateful to have commerce of that sort. But yeah, nobody goes out. Well, I mean, the woodsman, he goes out there, but that's his job. I mean, he has to bring back lumber and firewood for our hearths. There is one other notable person. There is a notable personage in the bar, and she's watching you. She's watching you from the bar where she's drinking from a mug, an earthen mug of ale. She approaches you, Gideon. You that doing all the talking, kind of gives Opie a sidelong glance. Where are you, Morgan? Are you here in the tavern with the rest of the group, or what are you doing?
I think it's her bedtime.
And she says, "I'm the constable here. Who are you that comes into my town asking all these questions, sir?"
I'll say that we are. What do we say when we walk in? We're marshals.
Yeah, I said marshals or constables or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
We're guild representatives from the crossings. We had been sent on a mission to the nearby mines, but our young friend here felt that there was something amiss, a disturbance in the force, and so we traveled on to see if we could be of help. And these are not the droids you're looking for, so you can just
move along.
Just move along. Yeah.
I like the idea that Morgan's out in the yard of the Green Man, acting like a tree, listening closely, carefully, and intently.
But that is until the drunk tries to come up and pee on her.
Right. Okay, cool. She's excited to hear that you're from Crossings. She's excited to hear that you are guild representatives, though, mostly because of the potential for commerce that could bring. She goes on and on about how the lumber yards could be reestablished, with a bit more manpower. Maybe it's the guild that can provide that manpower. And you learn from her.
Well, certainly now that we know they're here, we can certainly start making connections.
You learn that she is the constable of this place. She keeps the law as best she can, and she does a pretty damn good job of it. Because there are not a lot of people here. There are fewer than 100 souls here in this town, and she has a deputy or two that can that she can call on when things get a little bit out of hand. She's definitely a seasoned warrior. She does carry a long sword. She does wear armor. She carries herself with a bit of pride.
Elan, a touch of elan.
Mm-hmm. Certain je ne sais quoi.
Esprit de corps.
Right. Right.
Grey Poupon?
But of course. We're children of advertising.
Stupid 1984 law.
You ever prime a figure and they go, how the hell did I miss that mold line?
No, because I don't worry about mold lines.
Wow.
Philistine.
No, it's to each his own, man. To each his own.
Okay, what will you guys do? You've learned a little bit more about this place. You've made another.
Okay, so it's not looking.
You've made another contact with the with the local law enforcement.
So I'll ask. I'm sorry. What was her name? Did she?
Dolores.
Dolores.
Rhymes with clitoris.
Grim and dark, man. Grim and dark.
Well, he's named character boobies. I can say that.
Terrible.
There's a bit of a difference there.
My friend.
One you can't spell in numbers. So I'll ask Dolores that if she has heard of the young boy that is missing or know of him, and if she, having been being the law enforcement, ask if he has been, if she's known of him in the past. What was he doing in this town in the past, and what, if she had any idea of where he might be going if he wasn't in town.
Okay. No, she doesn't. She doesn't know the boy.
Okay. Okay.
She
that
says
makes it easy.
there are almost no young people in the town.
Mm.
She goes on to explain that they've been ravished by plagues and sickness, and the children very often don't survive more than the first few winters. Those that do are sort of treasured and cherished as being the hope for the future, the seed that will carry the place forward. But they're pretty, I said there may be 100 souls in the town now. Maybe 6 of them are teenaged, and 2 or 3 of them are children.
Okay, so it's noticeably lacking children.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and she doesn't know this boy, Caven.
Okay.
What will you do?
I'm wondering if he even exists, or if he does exist, is he some nasty demon creature?
We've done that already, though. So, I don't know that there's much more at this point that we can do, unless you want to do a Three Musketeers, start a bar fight, and steal all the food.
It's fallen into evening, for sure.
Okay.
Maybe it's time to go
there is one other. Somebody does burst into the tavern though, and races up to Dolores and says, another farm's been burned. She's, her eyes get big. Her hand goes to her sword. Says, "Who is it this time?" The Weavers. It was the Weavers. I can't believe it. They're all dead, drawn up in trust. like all the others had been before, last summer, just like those.
Oh, man. I told you that's Caven doing that. I got a bad feeling about this.
I've got a bad feeling about it. You don't say that, Peter. I got a bad feeling about it. Okay, and then we'll close the we'll close the scene on that
on the tavern.
On the tavern, on that, you know.
We'll go to our room for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Our rooms. There's only 3 of us. We have a room.
Okay. All right. Dawn breaks on the second day here at the Verge. And who's up first? And why?
Gideon is up first because he has to do his morning
prayers.
Prayers and rituals for
his morning rites, his morning rituals. Yes. Where are you doing these? Pardon me.
Well, obviously, in somewhere trying to be private, because I wouldn't think to be well received by anyone in the area.
Okay. Okay. And what do those rituals look like? As you're trying to perfect yourself in your theuragic ways.
Theuragic? I don't know.
Theuragic,
yeah. Yeah. They are more. Well, they're actually a combination. One is start with contemplation and meditation on the teachings, but then being that he's recently joined the 7 Hammers, I think it was, which changed. He's using a hammer. That he also does some martial kata kind of, so he needs a little bit of space.
Kind of maybe up in the room where you that you had reserved for yourselves.
Right. Sure. Or that's not something that's that unusual. I mean, it's not like he's going to be. Well, maybe he is. I don't know.
Maybe it's like Tai Chi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
like that.
That's cool.
Tai Chi with a big hammer.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Dawn's breaking. The lights, the morning lights, starting to fill the room as you complete your morning meditations and then go about your martial rituals. And you can hear a song break out across the town, a song of welcoming, a song of praise, a song with the morning light. Wow. And then, some muttering from down, God damn, fuck, every God, why does it have Jesus, fuck. And more
of a world of joy, it's a world of hope, it's a world. No, go ahead.
What will you do?
So where's the song coming from?
It's coming from out within the town, within the walls. Echoing.
Okay, inside
somewhere.
the
coming
palisade,
from somewhere.
Okay.
It's not visible.
Mm-hmm. I will complete my morning ritual and see if I can find the source of the song, because it seems to be so out of place in this downtrodden area.
Sure. As what are the rest of you doing? Are you going with Gideon? Are you about your own plans or rituals of the morning of the new day? Morgan wakes and goes to join the singing. So your armor has faded from you. it took twice as long as it normally would have to dissipate from your personage. Oh, it lasted a full 8 hours rather than the normal 4 you had expected. And you're going with Gideon to find to seek out the song. Opie, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm going with them.
Oh, okay, go on.
Yeah, unless Morgan wants to do something alone, I tend to be alongside.
Okay.
Or nearby, because like I said, I made a promise.
Okay. So as you kind of make your way down in the common room, and some of the staff is about, doing their staff-like things, and a man bursts into the common room. He's like, "Holy fuck! I just saw the biggest wolf out at the edge of the woods. Jesus Christ, it was bigger than a horse." What do you mean, Tom? We haven't even seen any horses. We ate the last horse 3 winters ago. I can't tell you how big this thing was. I'm so glad it didn't see me. I'm glad I was out looking for wood. That damn Branson, hasn't been keeping up with his duties. I had to scavenge in the ruins, and Jesus, I'm so glad it didn't see me. All right, are you guys going to look for the singing? It's stopped now.
Quick check. Is there lycanthropy kind of things in this world that
Is
we're
there
aware
what?
of? Lycanthropy kind of things?
Make an intelligence challenge, even if that's such a thing in this character sheet.
Okay.
Yeah, make an intellect challenge.
Intellect. That's not my. It's not the guy today. Make an intellect challenge. Oh, hey! Every roll
Every time
such
you
a
doubt
positive-
yourself.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Peter, you have to call on the power. I have to doubt myself. There we go.
That's it.
That's the way it works.
Ethan's got to be a clutch.
That's it.
Right, the final, the desperate last
Do or
gasp.
die. Do or die. Don't think it's gonna work as a 20. Oh look, he rolled one.
Again, watch me pull
He
a
missed
rabbit out
the
of my
entire
hat.
game, but he got our 20 when we were about to be attacked by a bone dragon. It works. It works.
Okay. Yeah, there are shapeshifters of a sort. There are tales of a peoples that could take on the forms of different creatures, of different people, of different things, but they've long since vanished from the realm of mortal men.
Oh, they're a player class, aren't they?
Well, there are changelings, but I'm not sure if that's the same thing you're talking about.
That's what I was thinking of. It's a player class, the changeling. But even then, none of us. Oh, changelings are fairy children that are left behind when they swap for a human child.
Mm.
And as an aside, I heard a very interesting idea that autism during the Middle Ages could be considered what the basis of changeling is, because if you have a normal child up to a point, and then all of a sudden he completely changes, unruly or a completely different personality, that's why it might be some way to explain the idea of changelings. So anyway, okay.
That is very interesting.
I'm just wondering, missing kid, giant wolf shows up. What phase of the moon is it?
That was my thought.
Full.
Of course.
Just like it is outside right now, or yesterday.
Right.
Waning from full. Or is it waxing?
Okay.
I think waning is going away. Waxing is growing.
Wax on, wax off. I don't know.
Yeah. Waning is getting smaller. Waxing is growing.
Yeah. Waning full moon.
Okay. So yes, let's go get. Let's go figure out the music.
Okay. It's stopped. The song has ceased. The sun has risen.
So the guy who's complaining about the sound of it.
It was a woman's voice singing.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been chanting.
Do people know who it was?
Oh, that's that damn bitch Mattel. She's always on about that crap every day. Greeting the new day. Oh, la-dee-da. Oh, here, I'm Matil. I'm going to sing my special song of light and greet the new day. Ha! Bollocks.
What a very supportive group they have here.
Sounds like me.
Yeah.
The guy, not Matil. Well, it sounds like, maybe she's
Let's go
obviously got
talk to
something
her.
going on. Yeah, she's obviously got something going on, and she thinks that she can, has some hope.
Okay. So you want to go seek out Matil? Is that that's your plan? Asking some of the staff around the tavern, it's pretty easy to find where she keeps her, what they kind of sneer and say, church. And,
Do we want
down,
to save these people?
down near the, let's see, let's look at the map. The Greenman is pretty much in the center of the walled portion of the town, and Matil keeps a shrine, a sanctuary, a temple almost here in the northwest, and going up towards it, everything else around it has sort of been burned or flattened or it's rubbled out. Even here on the good side of the wall, except for this temple, and you can tell it's a temple because it has a domed roof, marbled domed roof with pillars sort of supporting that dome, and the dome's open from the center. And you see sort of an old woman sort of tottering about the place, doing what errands she would do to keep up this area. What will you do?
Approach her in a friendly manner.
Okay, sure.
We're good folk.
Sure. She greets you. Travelers, how peculiar. We've not had many of those here in this place for quite some time. What brings you to our humble town? I am Matil, priestess of the light. Have you come to offer homage to our mistress? She has risen. Come, pray with me.
Oh, a crazy woman. What?
Gideon,
How
does she recognize your faith?
Opie will go hang out with her.
What was the question?
How does she recognize your faith? How does she identify you as a new god, as a follower of the new gods, rather than the old?
He's still wearing his Ouroboros symbol, which is the new god's symbol.
Oh, right. And the Ouroboros is the snake devouring its tail.
Yes. And he's still got the funny haircut.
Yeah.
The funny haircut. Remind me about the haircut.
I just made it up.
Oh.
The one like Ethan's got right now.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very friendly and taken with you, Gideon. She's welcoming you. She's like ushering you in, and she's like showing you the miserable examples of statuary and mosaic work. There are a few beautiful pieces, but it's more like folk art. Folk art.
Mm-hmm.
But does this seem to be actually a temple to the new god?
It's a new god. It is a new god.
Oh, it
temple.
is.
Yeah, you recognize it almost instantly. And you also recognize the one of the cults, I guess you might call them.
Mm-hmm.
The cult of light. The cult.
Okay.
It's not quite the sun. It's more about the light that's brought by the sun.
Right. Okay. So then, this is like probably the first time that I've seen. I know there's a little bit in the crossings, and I've been in contact with them because I've joined the Seven Hammers. But this is the first time I've actually seen in the open, effectively, someone since ever almost. So I am just like overwhelmed and engage her in conversation, even if she's not, even if she's of simple beliefs, I will certainly respect them and compliment her care of the temple and the things like that. I will ask if I may cast a blessing upon the temple and commune with if she and I at least could have a service together and
okay, go ahead and take a fortune point. She's very she's thrilled and overjoyed to have one of your a person of your faith here amongst you, and she when you tell her about the 7 hammers, she's like, I thought that cult had been lost. Well, at least here in the north, where, who, how, why, lots of, can you help me repair, this fallen altar, and there's lots of discussion about new constructions and whatnot. And you had offered to cast a blessing. What does that look like? Is it an actual spell that you're casting?
It's an actual spell. All it does is basically give somebody a boon.
Okay.
But it's something.
Sure.
You touch each target and bestow your blessing up for the duration. The target make an attack rolls or against an attack, I guess. But I'm just trying to find some sort of spell that I have that is of benefit. I mean, I could also do. Oh, here we go. I'll do a. Yeah. I'll find some appropriate spell that's not chain lightning.
I think a generic blessing is always good.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to have a
that's
casting, just to may the light bless you, sister.
Yeah, I think that's great, and that sort of seals the deal on your friendship, on your camaraderie. If she was 30 years younger, she would have knocked you down and mounted you right there. So it's that kind of
enamorment.
Enamorment. Yeah.
I made that up too.
Yeah.
Obsession, I guess maybe.
Or certainly reaction, that kind of chemistry.
Enchantment. I think that's the right word. Enchantment.
No, always knew you had it in you, Nils.
Well, yeah.
So what will you do?
So after all that, I mean, not to keep the other two bored, but I will try to.
They are not pretty. They are. This has gone on for about 2 hours.
Well, I certainly, allow them to move on while we do that. But one thing I will do while I'm, interacting with her is to try to get more information again on the two items. I guess 3 now. The big wolf, or just general information. The wolf, the druid priest, and any more information about him, because we really don't know that much about him. His son, the father. Being that she's at least allegedly somewhat, religious, trying to figure out if she has any clues as to what this imbalance is that we're looking into, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Has she sensed a disturbance in the force?
She has not. She has not
until I showed up.
Yeah, and that and it was like the array of sunlight,
array of light.
Array of light here in my temple. Though the great wolves she doesn't know anything about them other than that the beasts ravaged the countryside. Especially in the times of trouble when the plague fell upon us, and the ebony men. And the ebony men flayed our militia. She's been here a long time. Almost, actually, she was born here in this town, and she took over the temple from the the priestess before her. She apprenticed at her side, learned the rites, learned the rituals, care for the place. And it's kind of like this just tacit acceptance that there is this temple of light here in Crossings, because at the darkest days of the siege, it was the temple of light where the townsfolk sought refuge, and it was the light that kept the darkness at bay. That's the type of rhetoric that you get from her. You can't really get any specifics about how that had happened, how it had worked, what transpired.
How these blessings manifested themselves.
Correct. Though there's something had happened, and she gets really upset when you mention Xavian. Why is he back in town? He's not. He shouldn't be here. He knows this is my flock, and I tend to them. We don't need his kind around here.
Xavian was the big woodsman.
Xavian is the
the druid.
The druid from the woods in the mud-stained robes, and she says, son, no, he has no children, Xavian. He has no boy. Wait, no. What? How? A boy with shocking brown hair, you say? Blue eyes? God damn it.
That's what he claimed.
He did also said he's not. He said he was not married.
He indicated it was a foundling.
She says, no. She shakes his head. This cannot be. No. I told that girl to leave him alone. That boy, he does not belong here. How? Why? No. And she just kind of goes into a rage and a fit, and she's stomping around.
God, I don't have to get her drunk now.
What will you do?
I will try to use, not charm, but use our common knowledge of the new god and
calm her down.
Calm her down. Use some sort of passages of I don't know what
a ritual, or a rite, or a prayer.
Something like that.
Xenophon 12 clearly states that in times of trouble, light will soon shine.
Right, but then in the process, trying to get her to actually explain what she's mad about.
Right. Okay, so she says that the girl Mary came to her and confessed this love that she had for a boy who was not part of our community, a boy who lived outside and beyond the walls.
Caven.
She may have said that was his name. I don't know. I told her that no, she was betrothed. She was promised. Her mother had promised her to the mayor, and she shall be the mayor's bride, and she shall bear him many great sons. That's what I told her. That is her duty. That is her role. That is her lot in life.
Morgan's just shaking her head. She doesn't agree with this marriage. She's a young child herself.
Yeah. How old is Morgan? I mean,
Morgan was 14 at the start of this thing, so by now she's probably 15.
Maybe 15. So this girl's a year or two older than you are, from what you gather, Morgan.
Okay.
But again, I'm not taking away from your disdain or your disapproval. I just want you to know that she is a woman, a young woman
in this society,
in her own right. Yeah. In this culture, in this day and age, in this.
Well, that's why the Consiera happens at 16, because at 16 you're a wettable age.
Correct.
I thought it was 15. Right.
Well, whenever it happens, that's what Papa says.
Well, I just.
No, in this case, it's Mary's mother who has betrothed her to the mayor.
Wow.
Okay. So it does seem kind of like what we thought. Okay. Well, so out of all that, I figured, like you said, that's been a couple hours. So about 2 hours of this, kind of
an hour to get to know you, an hour to, for her to get to know you, this heated conversation.
Right. So
it's mid-morning.
Right. If Morgan and Ichabod or Opie want to go do something else for 2 hours while I do this, that's fine.
I mean, Morgan wanted to go back to the Stones and figure some more out about what's going on there, but
okay. It'll take you most of the. You want to go alone?
Oh no, Opie's going with her in part, well, because he keeps an eye on her, but in two, because he knows something about the stones and he's got earth magic.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like
it's to know more too.
About 2 miles each way.
And as far as I can tell, this is not the way the stones should normally be reacting. Is that correct? I mean, I recognize a connection, but there's some sizzling power going on here.
Yeah, there's something.
Not normal.
Yeah, there's something. This type of thing is not common. I mean, it is
Mormon
common.
hair doesn't do that normally.
I mean, your sense about Opie has some magical powers, right?
Right, earth magic.
Earth magic, yeah, and it has to do with the way the ley lines have shifted. You could tell that there always had been here. There had always been lines of power here, but something had drawn them together within the stones, right? And whether that was the purpose of the stones or some premeditated effort to sink them within the stones, that has happened. And the two of you are kind of discussing this, perhaps as you walk out towards back out towards the standing stones. And as you and Gideon, you're remaining with Matil in the temple. Kind of
probably a very
conversation.
bad idea. But yes.
Sorry, what was that?
I said probably a very bad idea, but yes.
Okay, so this was sort of a way to free up some of the party resources so they could do something more in the morning besides just standing around listening to you talk about esoteric,
right,
religious stuff.
New God, blah blah blah.
New God, blah blah blah. So you guys are leaving. Morgan, Opie, you're leaving the ruins. You're making your way out of the ruins. You're about to the edge of the ruins, and you can see smoke rising from one of the fields here to the north of your current position. Huge, great black cloud of it. What will you do?
Morgan looks at Opie and goes, "That doesn't seem normal. Maybe we should go check that out."
I'm sorry, where was the smoke coming from?
I'll mark it on the map.
Okay. Those hashtags with blocks in the middle are farms, I'm assuming.
They are. Yeah, so this one is smoldering.
Is your phone right now?
So Morgan, you want to check it out?
I think it's more pressing that we check that out than the standing stones.
I agree.
They're about equidistance, maybe about 2 miles, either mile and a half.
Yeah.
The farm might be a little further. The farm's probably 2 miles.
Okay. I think the farm would be good.
Yeah, the standing stone's about a mile. The farm's about a mile and a half, mile and 3/4. Are you walking?
I think we're walking. I assume we
just
don't
the two of you are going. You're immediately heading for the farm. Is that what I hear?
Or
The
should
In this
fire
early
time
hour
is
of the
up,
morning.
No, we should go by and get we should go get Gideon.
Yeah.
You want to go back into the town and then go get Gideon?
Well, it's on the way.
These are the two gatehouses. The two entries are here and here. So it is kind of on the way. I mean, it's a roundabout way.
Yeah.
Back to the gatehouse, get Gideon, back to the gatehouse, go to the farm. That's fine.
Besides, maybe
Just
no
wanna
one else has seen the no one else has seen the smoke yet.
No, that once you're back inside the town, there's a lot of distress about this, and You remember that
Is it the Weavers?
could be the Weavers.
Because someone said the Weavers' farm's been burned.
Yep, it could be the Weavers for sure.
I was about to ask if they had any horse, and then I just realized they said they ate their last horse three
last
years
winter.
ago.
No,
Yeah.
last winter. So we don't want them near our horses.
It could be the Weavers, though it might not be. So do you want to try to take time to figure that out? Like,
no, we're gonna.
No, I think the fire time is of the essence.
okay.
Because if nothing else, we want to get clues about who did it. And
It's about a 3-mile trip.
Yeah.
It would be about 1 mile and 3/4 if you went directly, but going back, I'm saying that's about 3 miles.
So it's
No
probably
problem.
about over an hour to get there.
If you walk,
Yeah.
if you want to,
you can make it. You could make it in a lot less.
if you want to hurry, like run, walk, or even run,
We
you
want to
could do
jog
that.
over.
You'd be exhausted. You'd be.
No, I say we do a
I
good
don't know if
study.
you'd be exhausted. You'd be tired, but when you arrive, there might be some effect or.
I say a fast hike.
Okay. A double.
Because even
on the double.
Double time on the double, exactly. Because even in my out of shape 54-year-old body, I could do that right now.
Yeah, you could. Okay. So on the double.
Yeah, 3 miles not pushing. I could do in 30 minutes.
You're young and healthy.
Especially with Morgan being young.
Everybody except for Morgan. So that would be Opie and because she's young and spry. Actually, no, we don't know how spry she is. Gideon, make a strength challenge. You can argue for any you can argue for any boons if you want from your background or whatnot. But right now it's even.
One boon for being young.
Sure.
One boon for my background as a woodsman and scout.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
And I rolled a 22, so I don't need any boons.
You guys are fine.
15.
I just needed that.
Yeah,
boon.
you guys, and in this day, in this age, travel by foot is the predominant mode of transport.
Yeah.
And you make it quickly. You're not well tired by the time you arrive, though it does take you a little while.
Was it? Excuse me for interrupting. When Drew was teaching this new group of young people years ago, getting introduced to D&D, and they started on keeping the Borderlands, and all their first level characters like, oh, can we? We're going to ride in. He goes, you're going to what? He goes, we're going to ride in. He says, on what? I said, do we have horses? He goes, if you had horses, if you could afford horses, you wouldn't need to adventure. It's what he said.
That's awesome. I love it. You're going to ride in? You're going to what? You're going to ride in on what?
This isn't a Western.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay. You come within a few hundred yards of the farmstead. You can tell it's the farmstead, and it's burning. The barn's burning, and you can hear howls of distress and shouts and cries coming from around the place. Though it's hard to tell. There's smoke in the air. The sun is bright. You can see some movement. There are figures down there about the farm. And Jesus Christ, that man just cut down that cow, nearly beheaded it with an axe. What will you do?
How far away are these guys now?
You're at extreme range, 500 yards.
Okay.
Okay, I need to check something here.
And how many arms did the guy have?
One.
One arm?
Two, pardon me. I thought you meant
One
arms
pair?
like weapons.
Oh, no, I meant
one
like,
arm,
does he look
one
like,
axe. He has one arm. He's a Yeah, I mean, it looks like a man.
Okay. So, sounds like there's
Morgan will begin moving around this way.
Okay.
Kind
You're
of
gonna
like
try to come around the far side, Morgan. Are you being stealthy about it, or are you just moving in that direction?
I'm being a little bit stealthy about it.
Okay, it'll just slow you down to be stealthy.
Yep.
And I'm going to cut in and being much more stealthy, the smaller curve to sort of stay between my two friends and the farm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Gideon, what are you doing?
And being Gideon,
He's gonna walk straight across the field. Fucking A. What a plan.
I will come singing hymns of the new God.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
But,
Swinging your hammer.
yeah.
If I had a hammer, I'd hammer.
So you said extreme range, which is 500 yards?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Okay, so I guess I'm not going to start casting preparatory spells yet, but
I just want you to know. I just want you to have a sense of that you're pretty far away now from the.
But no, I will kind of like move somewhat the opposite direction in order to provide distracting cover for the other two.
Okay.
I just figured we cut them off if they're going to run for the forest, because that's the direction I would run if I burned somebody's stuff.
Good point. But I'm not going to like be calling out to them. But I'm not moving stealthily either.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, just taking some notes. All right, you're not moving stealthily, so are you singing? I really like that idea.
Sure.
No, okay, no singing, but just marching
steadfastly
across the field. Opie, you're creeping and using the best amount of cover that you can find to sort of creep up on the place. And Morgan, you're swinging exceptionally wide, not trying to be particularly stealthy, but with some care in concealing yourself. Is that right?
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Okay, Opie, make an agility challenge with.
Sorry, I was on mute before you said. I was just gonna say she and I are in eye contact to, checking in with each other visually.
Okay. So yeah, not out of line of sight, as it were.
Right.
You're keeping careful eye on her, but it sounds like Opie's keeping himself between the farm and Morgan.
Sort of, and the two of them are communicating sort of like Will and he did, and that, if one of us sees something, they're letting the other one know, type thing.
Sure, I got you.
And I have a test to make you say.
Yeah, make an agility challenge with 1 boon. Morgan, make an agility challenge with 1 bane.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
You passed it.
I needed the boon. Well, I had a +1. I would have just made it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Woo! Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. We good.
Okay. You all come within long range now of the farm, 100 yards, and you can see there are at least half a dozen, maybe more. Doesn't seem to be less. Men just looting the place. There's some debauchery going on too, but you're not sure what. And that's mostly like the cries that you hear of distress. Gideon, 3 of them see you and they point to you. We're going into a melee round now.
Okay.
And we'll set our tokens out on the initiative. Will you go fast or slow, gentlemen?
How many can I currently see right now?
You can see, Morgan, 5.
Okay.
And you said that there's at least half a dozen?
She thinks there are at least half a dozen. There could be more. It's hard to, but this trying to keep track of like who's moving in and out of the buildings, who's coming around, who's emerging from the smoke. It's hard to tell. There are a number of men down there.
Well, if I can see 5, I'm going fast.
Okay.
I'm going slow.
Okay.
I'm looking at my spell book really quickly. I am going. And we're all spread out, right? Yeah. Okay. So that's not going to work.
You're probably 50.
Yeah.
Somewhere between. You're medium from your friends at least.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
right.
more
Okay.
than medium. 20 yards
all
or
right.
more.
I will go slow.
Okay.
Do we have the tracker out? I'm not seeing it.
I haven't put it out. I'm kind of using it in my mind right now as I like fiddle with some of the technical parts of it here in the Roll20. They're going slow also. So you all can take your actions first.
Okay, so since Morgan's going fast,
I need a stat block for these fuckers.
Morgan will cast a spell, and as she casts it, she's going to use her greater sorcery trait, specifically the potent spell trait, to increase the damage of her spell by 2d6 on each target. And she's going to cast the unerring dart spell. 7 darts automatically fly from her fingertips and automatically hit their targets.
Okay.
Dealing 1 damage each, and then the
plus the 2d6.
Plus the 2d6 for.
Thanks.
Yeah, and she gains 1 strain. So at the end of this round of combat, she'll need to check to see if she blows up.
Okay, why don't you throw a die or a marker to the table to keep track of your strain?
Sure.
And we'll do it that way. What do you do at the end of? Well, we'll get to it at the end of the turn when you're testing your strain.
Yeah. Okay. So you want me to roll damage?
Yeah. Why not? Let's see. Let me get a piece of scratch paper here for these.
You want me to roll just 2d6 and do them all, or roll each one individually?
Roll each one individually. There's you can hit 5 targets. I suppose you said you launched 7 and they hit unerringly, so you can split those 7 darts amongst the number of targets that you wish. There are 5 potential targets.
Okay. So
sorry, what's the range on that thing? Is it
long range?
Oh, it's good. So you're at long range, so you can hit them.
Okay. All right. I will go with 1 in each of the 5, and then the 2 who are relatively closest to me, I'll fire 1 extra each at them.
Okay. So 2 of them are getting 2 darts.
Yeah.
All right. That would be 46 against them plus 2.
2. Yeah. So I'll do those guys first.
Great.
Here's the first one. So 17 points to him. Next one takes 20 points.
Yeah. Okay. Those are both. Well, we'll get to that. Why don't you go ahead and roll out your
remaining 3. Okay. Here's the next one. 10 points. 5 points. And 8 points.
Okay. Wow. Blam.
And if you were close enough to actually see, you would see that the tattoo on her palm actually glows as she casts the empowered version of her spell.
Okay, very cool. 2 of them go down. How do they fall before your darts?
As the darts hit them, instead of just being hit by a dart, the dart actually kind of explodes a little bit. And so you see where the darts hit, there are just these about 3-inch size holes in their chests.
Out the back, maybe.
Yep.
Like a hollow point.
Exactly.
The cry goes up from the fellows that are at the edge of the barn, edge of the farmhouse there. What magic is this?
Come closer and find out.
Opie, Gideon, what will you do? You're both going slow, but this group is going slow, also trying to organize itself to decide what to do with you. And there's been a great sorcery cast upon them.
Do I have a clear shot?
You do. There are you can see the same. Well, there's two bodies that you can see, and there are three fellows remaining on their feet. You know, reeling from the magical onslaught from Morgan.
Okay, I'm taking a shot at the closest one, I guess I'm going to assume.
Okay, great.
And wait, to double check,
It's
I think
long. I don't know if you pick up a Bane or anything for that, for being long. Why don't you take a Bane for it just being very long range? 100 yards is pretty far.
Let me double check what it says here.
If you like, you can spend an action and move to medium and take no penalty.
I will do that.
Okay.
And I'm going to use... sorry. It's been a while since I played OP. I'm going to use Trickery.
Okay.
To make an attacker challenge with a boon. An attack will get an extra D6 if I hit.
Okay.
But I get a boon for that. I lost the Bane for moving forward, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Because you close the distance.
Oh, it was close to a 19. That would have been beautiful.
I'm
pretty sure 17 is going to hit, though.
Yeah, you go sprinting forward and, loose an arrow. You hit one of these fellows square, dropping him. How does he fall before you?
Oh, it just goes right into it. Yeah, it gets another 5 points. It just goes right into his neck, and he's the one yelling, "Hey, what kind of magic?" Goes,
collapses.
Blood spewing out of his neck. Because it's your one-way ticket to midnight. Call it heavy metal.
Nice.
Okay. Gideon, what will you do?
So Gideon will move forward into medium range.
Okay.
And cast his Create Holy symbol, which, sorry, I don't know why I keep thinking I need to double click that, but basically gives me a boon for my attacks in the future with this, my Theurgy class. But what I'm doing is, as I'm walking forward, because the holy symbol, of course, is the Ouroboros. So he's like very, very Doctor Strange like. He's like making these circular motions and making this spinning ring of fire that he
that's cool. That
and
looks
he's
like the dragon eating its tail.
Right. that he finally like grabs a hold of and holds in front of him, and as he's shouting at the remaining living people, saying, stand down, the Astrid's wrath is upon you, and your ways have come to be judged, and while of course swinging his hammer above his head with the other hand.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That is pure anime there, baby.
Okay. The men that you could see before you, those three, they've drifted back into the smoke. They didn't run; they've just sort of faded away.
Okay.
The ones that were dealing with that's a boon. Sorry, that's a fortune point for Gideon, by the way.
Cool.
Super
Thank
cool.
Yeah, that was a slick visual.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
The ones that you had seen in the poor Nils.
God damn, quit with the tuberculosis.
Well, the funny thing is, I'm trying to get the mouse button, to click off to mute the microphone, but I'm coughing, so my hand's jerking around and I can't click the mute. All right.
I remember how awful I sounded a few days ago or a few weeks ago. So
yeah, that was right there. I even missed one.
Shoot, sorry. I think we're going to close it here on that yawning note, as these the fellows that you were facing, that were they run into the farmhouse. like, fuck, they've got a sorceress out there. They kick in the door, and there's a lot of hooting and hollering.
Just a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Does the sound of the debauchery, as you called it, does that at least stop? Because that just makes Opie mad.
Yeah, it does. I mean, at this point, there's cries of battle and alert and things like that. So,
because I don't know if you remember the whole backstory about why he and Ichabod are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody rapes women around Opie.
Well, these guys are.
Women
one less.
But just to clarify your point, the three that we saw ran off somewhere shouting at other people.
So there were 5 that
Or
Morgan
2, I guess.
and Opie had come upon. Morgan dropped 2 of them, leaving 3. Those 3 ran back into some of the farm buildings.
I dropped one of them too.
Oh, you dropped one of them. Pardon me. And you dropped one of them too. 2 of them. Pardon me. There are 2 of them that have run back into some of the farm buildings. And you had squared off. You had seen 3 sort of emerge out of the smoke, and you cast your holy symbol thing, and rather than confronting you directly, they faded away into the smoke.
Okay, so what you're saying though is that it's
there's at least 5.
Those are 2 separate groups.
They are 2 separate groups. Yeah,
I understand.
If you had perfect communication between your 2 parties,
we would know that, but we don't.
You would know that there are at least 5 men about this place now.
Right. Okay.
Well, it's a good thing I only use one of my low-level area of effect spells.
There you go.
And I'm glad I used my 0-level spell to scare them off.
Yeah, that was super cool.
That was.
Yeah, I think that was the big hit for me. It was seeing that Aurora Borealis coming out, Gideon marching across the fields, in the haze of the smoke of the burning farmhouse. That was cool.
Your deeds are come to be judged.
And I will also wrap up by saying that the miss for me was not having my notes fully in place, but I'm not sure if you can see this, but I've got a whole sheet of them about what's going on.
Can you do that a little bit slower?
Yeah, that's why I did it fast. You can go back and look at the YouTube if you want.
freeze frame, right?
Yeah, we'll freeze it, enlarge it, enhance it,
and find it.
That's why I was kind of wiggling it around too. Hopefully, people blur it out. How about for you guys? Any hits or misses tonight?
I think that more of obviously the ending on that note, and just playing Gideon because that last adventure had been a little while, and so it's good to play Gideon again. I'm really happy to have made a new god connection, because it seemed like he's always been the outcast the whole time.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm already thinking maybe this is where he returns once this is all over, kind of thing. And the miss was not picking up on that we were at 6th level and having done my level stuff beforehand, so I was not as organized and kind of only half paying attention on some of it.
What was the thing that you got?
Okay, so hey Emily. Okay, so Gideon got this, which I think we already talked about, but that's the it causes
extra damage or an extra damage of effects, right?
Right. Yeah. But for 3rd spells. Well, that's right. That I was explaining to him while you were gone. 808 got the ability to take one thing out of his artificer bag and take one of my spells and store it in that item, and then give it to somebody else.
Oh, wow!
So it's almost like creating a scroll in a mechanical way.
Oh,
but our discussion was I also get a spell, which I haven't decided on. The 2 spells are either a bolt thrower, a automatic bolt thrower PDF turret, or a 30-foot circular explosion of caltrops that if that can that can incapacitate the people if they fail twice their agility rolls.
Wow.
So
I'm leaning more and more towards the caltrips, as much as I love
think
these
so, too.
possible alien quotes out of the automatic cannon.
I think if nothing else, that might be one reason to pick the caltrop. But the cool thing is that looking forward into the artificer role, then one of the next things is, I can't remember what it's called, but you can make a construct and give it a fly ability.
Oh,
So
like
you
a
could
drone or
and
something?
then exactly, and then use this store spell to give it the bolt thrower.
Oh my God! Flying artillery.
Exactly, having it like zone drones, like a drone or two.
It's a predator drone, man. It's a predator drone.
There you go. Exactly.
Wow.
So,
well, I saw the
that's-
picture on the front of the book. We're gonna need that.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So yeah, that was those are the, and then like a couple of health points and stuff like that. So those are my
Cool.
guys.
Very cool.
So yeah, that and my miss, and then also just not having Glenn here, because so far I've only played with him once, so I want to play with him some more.
Yeah, I hope he gets caught up on this session. I think he would have enjoyed it. It's kind of his jam.
Yeah, I think Retch will be a fun addition.
Yeah.
So that's my boons and banes.
Yeah, and we've yet to meet his second character.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
Oh,
Yeah, his other character works even more. Looks very unsavory.
I haven't looked at the character sheet yet.
It looks like an orc. So
It's changeling.
Well, he does live in Texas, right?
Yeah. So how did you guys get hooked up if he's in Texas?
He's a friend of Dave Sokolowski's.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He comes out for DunderCon. Well, he came out
that's
last year for DunderCon and this year.
Mhm.
And he's part of Dave's Monday night If that 5e game.
And he was part of the group that introduced me to Terraforming Mars.
Right.
So that's how I met him.
Okay.
So cool. Ethan, Peter, hits or misses?
My hit was the whole having Morgan walk around like a tree.
Oh, that was super fun. Yeah,
that was just a lot of fun.
It was like a weird, kept having to reset my mind about, she's got this whole separate persona going on right now. And then how would people react to that persona? I thought that was, that led to a lot of interesting opportunities.
Yeah. I liked all her being a tree and just being able to take advantage of the nature aspects of it when healing people and things.
Giving them the berries. Yeah,
exactly.
That was cool.
Yeah. I think my only miss was probably not having Glenn and his new character show up.
Yeah, cool. Peter?
I thought we had some really good opportunities for some role playing that was fun. Some conversations with other characters, and I'm enjoying how this is really kind of just flowing out. The whole almost like a murder mystery. There's little pieces we haven't put together yet. I enjoy it.
Right. Yeah, that is interesting. Mm-hmm.
My big bane would be that absolutely that Glenn wasn't here, and that Ethan was silent for a big part of it, because I always enjoy his sense of humor.
Well, it was a good. Certainly went above and beyond. In fact, take a fortune point for that, Ethan, for your Herculean efforts there.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Your pantomiming and your RP through chat. It was cool.
It was unfortunate that you weren't able talking, but it was great to have you halfway here.
It was good to be here, even if it was halfway here.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. All right, I'm going to kill the broadcast.
I'll kill the share.
I'll not kill myself.